How's everybody doing? So as you see by the title, today we're going to be talking about and starting to talk about even more often the difference between having sex, making love, and spiritual intimacy. Or even, is there a difference between them? Now, of course, some of you right off the bat, you just know that there's a difference between having sex and making love, and you may ask the question of what is spiritual intimacy. And depending upon your religious views, you may go ahead and put it in that framework. Now, this is not pushing any type of religion, nor will I ever push any type of religion on anyone. But I need you to understand this aspect of it. In every religion that is current to the most ancient of times of the recordings of man, there has always been an emphasis on the sexual energy and sexuality. As a matter of fact, when you check any religion, the actual marriage begins, the actual joining of two people is when they commit to having sexual intercourse. Now, unfortunately, in our world today, we've become totally debased where sex is more of a carnal thing, that the actual sharing of energy and becoming one, becoming bone of my bone, has been lost. In ancient times, people used to go to the synagogue, to the priest, to learn exactly how to have spiritual intimacy with their married partner, with their husband, with their wife, so that everything that they create is divine, so that they begin to share energy with each other. Now, I know for some of you that may throw you off, but it doesn't really matter. Because if you look deeply into your writings, you will find it. So what is the difference? You see, too often a marriage is based purely on just having carnal lust. That when you make love, when you have sex with somebody, you're just fulfilling from your base chakra down, your carnal, just your human, the flesh. And that is what's meant by that when we talk about satisfying the flesh, is that you're just having sex to relieve the pressure, relieve your desire, your animalistic desires. Now, if you're with somebody that you claim to be your partner, and you claim to be the person that you love, and that is how they're looked upon as somebody that you're just satisfying your carnal nature, then this is why you're going to always have problems within that relationship. It's kind of like this. If you're poor and you have financial issues or you have other problems, then those problems can be elevated by the fact that you don't have money. But if you have money, then you have what's called rich people problems. Financially, you can take care of anything. Financially, you can go off, and if you have a problem with your emotions, you have the money to go get a counselor. If you have problems within your marriage, you have money to go get a counselor. If you have a problem health-wise, you have money to go get better treatment. But when you don't have money, then those opportunities aren't there. Your sex life is similar. If you are having just a carnal sex life with your partner, if everything is lust-based, and you have other problems financially, health-wise, the way you live, where you work, those types of things, then they're personified to such a level that it causes even more problems. But when you are having a relationship of spiritual intimacy, it's totally different. Now you got rich people problems. Because now when you have an issue with your health, that spiritual intimacy allows for you two to come together as one. When you have problems at work, when you have problems where you live, you have problems with the house, you have problems with almost anything, you have rich people problems. Because your spiritual energy, your sexual energy is at such a connective degree that now the two of you can handle anything. If you read the gospel according to Philip, he talks about how if a husband and wife come together in agreement, that there is no power greater than that. You understand what he's saying? So whether you accept that or not, as far as canonized gospel, but the writing, the understanding, the knowledge is there. And it's true. And if you find that, you'll find that same thought process as far as the writings of Buddha and Krishna and the Egyptians, the Atlanteans, and everybody, even further back, the Sumerians. That same understanding is there. So now what is the difference between making love and sexual intimacy? You see, making love is better than just having carnal sex. You see, making love is when you and someone, you do care about them. You feel for them. That they are, you do put them ahead of you most of the time. They have there's enough going on that you are satisfied and you're happy with them. But it's really just a happiness that comes up to the level of the heart, where you have emotional ties to that person. And unfortunately, this is where most marriages are finding themselves, in a point where they just have heart emotional ties with each other. And yes, there are many that are base, but there are those that they have an emotional heart tie. And those last for as long as everything else in the marriage is good. You see, when you have just that, this is when poor finances can come in and destroy the relationship. This is where not dating, not spending other quality time with each other, not understanding and connecting with each other can still come in and destroy the relationship, because the level of commitment, the level of connection only comes up to the heart. Only up to the heart. See, spiritual intimacy is vastly different. Spiritual intimacy takes that energy, that connection, and it goes through the communication of the throat. It comes up to the vision of the third eye, and it goes to the crown of the consciousness. It's when that person means so much more to you that you are willing to sacrifice yourself for them, where their well-being is far greater than anything else on the planet. Where if they hurt, you hurt. If they're enjoyed, then you're enjoyed. If their desires are not met, then your desires are not met. If the things you want to accomplish in your life are causing a problem within the two of you, it doesn't become a point where you are now in a state where you resent them for it. But you please them by making sure that both of you are coming together, that no one person is greater than the other, because you're truly one. You see, spiritual intimacy, yes, it involves dating and continuously spending time and talking to each other. These are the techniques and tactics, but it also requires you to go through processes where you sit with each other and you communicate on levels of where you're sharing each other's energy. These are things that are talked about when you understand the ideas of Tantra and Kama Sutra. These are the things when you talk about chakras and sharing of energy as far as the Kundalini spirit. These are the things that are talked about when the two become one, and consummating and understanding who you are within the relationship. These are the things that most of us don't take the time to learn, don't take the time to develop. We think that just because I have heart energy for someone, that in itself is enough, but it's not. You see, spiritual intimacy is the thing that makes a good marriage great. Without that, a good marriage will only be, you would only have a good marriage. But who would want a good marriage? You should strive for a great marriage. And when you have spiritual intimacy, you have sex, make love, and you have divine sex. Now that's something that will delight anyone's heart. That is when the orgasmic energy is shared and is utilized to create all things that you desire in life. So I'm going to leave you guys right there. We're not going to get into techniques today, because if you go and learn these techniques without the wisdom of understanding them, how to use them, then you can wind up hurting yourself and hurting your relationship. These are not things that you should play with. I talked about sex transmutation before, but I only gave you a snippet because these are not things that you should play around with, because you can hurt someone greatly if you don't understand this and utilize it. So y'all have a great day, and I look forward to more conversations concerning this, and y'all continue to love each other, because my greatness is non-negotiable and so is yours.